My first technique of the day is actually a very simple one, and it came from experimenting with the rule of thirds. So there's lots of different ways that you can try to compose your photos. You know, of course, we try to get it right in the camera. Doesn't always happen that way. So then we bring it into Photoshop. And there's a couple of different tricks to try to get that rule of thirds. I've written actions for it. And then I found a really, really simple way to do it, and it's one little keyboard shortcut. What you do is go up to your preferences. On the Mac, it's in the Photoshop menu. On the PC, it's going to be under the Edit menu. And you'll go down to Guides, Grid, Slices. Inside here, you're going to see an option for creating a grid line. And that option, by default, is probably going to read something like every 4 inches or every 1 inch, or it reads by inches. But what you do is just change it to 33.3 and change the setting to %. All right? That's going to give us our rule of thirds. Now, one of the gotchas here is another setting is subdivisions. If you leave the setting at 4, which is what it typically defaults to. If you leave it there, you're going to get this weird looking grid. You'll kind of see some rule of thirds in there, but there's a lot of other stuff that makes it hard to see. So you change that to 1. So 33.3%, change subdivisions to 1, click OK, and now if I go view my grid, it's right under the view menu, down to show grid, and you can see the keyboard shortcut there. That's why I remember this one, because it lets me just turn it on and off. So Command apostrophe, and I get a nice little rule of thirds on my photo. And it's one little keyboard shortcut. The caveat is you're kind of ditching your grid, all right? But I'm okay with that. I typically don't use the grid for anything else here in Photoshop, so when I turn that on, I always know I have my rule of thirds. What's really cool about it, though, if I take the crop tool and I'll just hit front image, so I'm cropping to the proportions of the photo here. If I take the crop tool, I can drag it around inside here. And if we're taking a portrait, we like to get those eyes. The reason why I'm cropping this photo, just to start with, is he kind of looks like he's falling down out of the frame. And that's, I mean, if you look at where, you know, it's not a rule that the eyes have to be up there, but it just kind of works. So if I crop it and position my crop area to the point where his eyes look like they're more toward the top third, hit the Enter key, and not only does it get cropped, but that rule of thirds automatically reshuffles itself. So now I can check it. If I don't like it, then I just undo and I try it all over again. But that's the easiest way that I found to get that into Photoshop in a non-obtrusive way to make it real easy. And again, keyboard shortcut for it, Command apostrophe on the Mac, Control apostrophe on the PC.